Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Covenant Brothers podcast. This is episode 2. The first one, if you remember, or if you haven't seen it at all, is way back many months ago. I can't even remember off the top of my head, but...
Yeah, I think it was the beginning of last year, around the same time.
Well, I don't think it was that long ago, but it was a while ago.
Well, yeah, actually, yeah.
Just a few months, but it was a while ago. And that's more of an, obviously, because it's episode 1, that's more of an introductory episode. I totally butchered that word, but regardless, if you want to know kind of more in depth about what this podcast is about and more in detail about who we are, you can go back and watch that episode. Otherwise, if you don't go back or whatever, in summary, I'm Nathan. The other guy there is Nathan.
You're David. I'm Nathan.
Oh, wait, did I mess that up? Okay. I'm David. He's Nathan. And we're both lifelong friends, and we just talk about whatever. Perfect intro. All right, let's go. Anything after to say, Nathan, to start?
Well, I would say that we're still figuring this all out, how it's going to work. You know, right now, David's in Thailand, and so we have been on quite a journey, both of us, in different parts of the world, and so now we finally found the right time to actually kick things off again. And hopefully we'll be able to actually be more consistent with this.
Yes, we'll try to find something. But yes, if you do remember, last time we were both in Canada, but now I am in Thailand and Nathan's still in Canada, so that's why, and that's why I'm in this different setting here. But yeah, so both me and Nathan actually have quite a few years of experience in Thailand over the last few years, I'd say, right? And Nathan, you were the first one here, I guess.
Yeah, then I brought you over.
Yes, you did. I'm here because of
you. That was fun. that was a funny flight or experience because, like, you know, this was like your first time flying out of Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, it was such a different journey for you. And like trying to teach you the ropes and, you know, not to get lost in the airport and just like, you know, you're trying to also take in everything because at some point you're going to have to travel back on your own.
Yes.
So, you know, you want to make sure that, you know, like the steps to follow, which signs to lead you where, you know, how to get to your gate. And some airports are like insane. Like they're so huge that like you have to like take a taxi from like one end of the airport all the way to the other.
Yeah.
And there's like so many different like areas that you could forget about. And I remember the one time actually, my first year going to Thailand, my dad flew with me, and we made the mistake of flying to the States first before we flew to Tokyo.
Right. Yep.
And so the way the States works is you had to redo customs. So I went through customs and security in Canada, and then we took like, it was a 2-hour flight up and down. You know, you literally just fly like 20 minutes in the air and then you fly back down. And then we landed in the States and had to grab our baggage. They actually the security checked all my baggage. So like all my check bags, they unzipped and like searched through it and everything. It was annoying. And then zipped it back up and then had to run to my next flight. And so I'm like, I'm never doing that again. So I never like had a cross connecting flight into the States after that because it was just a mess.
I do remember you telling stories before about and giving me advice on, you know, never fly through the States going to Asia. If you have to make another stop in North America, do it in Vancouver, you know.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember there was one year we also had to bring magazines back from Thailand.
Yeah.
And like, there's a lot of times that I find in the plane where they'll end up doing like an announcement maybe like 10 minutes before they start boarding, and they're like, we're realizing now that we don't have enough room in the overhead containers to store your carry-on. So if you're wanting a free check bag, then come on up. And I didn't realize that was going on at the time, and I think I might have had to go to the washroom or something. And so I had this like 50-pound bag of magazines that like I could have gotten checked in for free, and I had to carry through the whole airport with me everywhere I went because I didn't remember, like I didn't think of that. And now every time that like I hear that announcement, I'm like, yep, sign me up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I remember, was this the magazine, was that the year that, because I remember my first year at the Bible college, which is why we were in Thailand. We were there for an international Bible college that's here in Thailand, Victory Asia Bible College. Because my first year was your fourth year, and I remember we brought magazines from the ministry back to Thailand. And was that the same year, or was there like years previous that you bring magazines also?
It was a year previous. Yeah, that was crazy.
The year previous?
You carried it the whole way. My arm was killing me. Oh, yeah.
So between America and magazines, were those like your craziest airport experiences?
I mean, you see very different people at times on airplanes, and you know, and so those are always interesting. But I think those are some of my craziest. Yeah, I think there's a few more, but those are the main crazy ones that I have right now off the top of my head.
Or just the people?
Well, there is another one when I flew to Thailand. Oh no, I flew from Thailand to India with the team that we went with. I totally forgot to print off our flight itinerary. Ooh. And I should have known better. You know, I thought we were getting with the times, you know, and it was being more mobile. But like certain countries are just so strict with like you need to have the paper. Right. And so we were on a connecting flight from Calcutta to Hyderabad, and it's like so we had flown to Calcutta, landed in Calcutta, and we had to go to the other part of the airport for departures. And in order to get to that second part of the airport, you needed to have like your itinerary, and you had to show it. And like you couldn't get past the guard without it. And there was just one guard, but it was like you walk up this flight of stairs, and then he's there waiting for you, and he's like, "Where's your papers?" And we didn't have any. Or most of us did, but it was just like two of us that didn't. And for some reason, I don't know why. Like we should have. So that was not smart, and we had to. It wasn't a lot of time between our connecting flights. So our next flight was like just about to board, and we had to like figure out how we're going to get our PDF of our itinerary to print from our phones or email to the airport. And so first we had to get rupees. So Sarah and I, we went scavenging through the airport to find a place to exchange money. And then we had to find a print shop in there, which there was, but it was just a pain. And we found it, paid for that in rupees, and then we got the paper, and then we ran up the stairs. He was like, the guy was looking at us weird, and you know, just I think still trying to give us a hard time. And then he gave us the go ahead, and we just made it as they were boarding. That was. I would say the most intense one that I've had was it was so scary, and just the way he was so staunch. It was like, we are not getting out of this airport if like we can't figure this out. Yeah. So it was like we're like, if Sarah ran one way to figure out the rupee thing, I ran the other way to figure out the printing thing. And then we met, and
yeah. Well, at least you made it. That's a close call for sure. Yeah. Part of that reminds me a bit of like my craziest experience of at an airport also was like at the start of the pandemic, like March 2020, because that was my second Yeah, I think that was my second
Yeah.
year at Bible college here, and
Mm-hmm.
um, and yeah, and then originally the school year goes till April, and that was when my original flight was scheduled to, fly back. But of course, the
Yeah.
pandemic started to, government started to like shut down and everything
Yes.
during like February, March of 2020. And we were hearing about a lot of stuff, kind of playing it by ear a bit until it was like March. The Thai government shut down all schools of all levels.
Mhm.
And of course, all the international leaders are telling citizens abroad to come home. And, like 80% of the airports around the world are closing down, and like almost all the flights are getting canceled. And my flight was included because originally I was supposed to, in April, I was supposed to fly from Thailand to Korea and then Korea back to Canada. But that flight was canceled because the Korean airport was one of the airports that shut down or something like that. And so, and we're learning all this within like the span of a week. And so within the span of a week, we find out that schools are closed down, airports are closing down, my flight's canceled, and I have to get a new flight to go home as soon as possible. So all this within the span of a week.
Yeah, it's like they expect like everyone to leave, and then everyone who's left to come back in like a day's time. And it's like it doesn't work like that.
It's stressful at the very least. Yeah. But yeah, so didn't have much of a choice, and eventually got a last minute flight within a few days for going through Tokyo, because the airport in Tokyo was still open at the time. And so, but it was like within the next few days once it was booked. And it was one of my last remaining chances to get back to Canada. So I was in Thailand last minute in March, a month earlier than I expected to go home, but I had to go home, flying through Tokyo. The thing is that I didn't look clearly enough at my itinerary. As it turned out, is that Tokyo is a very big city, and they actually have two major international airports in the city, and they're on opposite ends of the city. So, and my layover in Tokyo was only like a 2 or 3 hour layover, I forget, and they were different airports. And the only way to get to the airport was by bus. And I didn't know any of this until I landed in Tokyo. And to make matters worse, I didn't have much cash on me, and I have my bank card that I use to withdraw money whenever I need it. And because I didn't have much cash on me, and I typically like to have a little bit of cash on me, like for food and stuff, when I go traveling in the airport. But I tried to withdraw a bit of cash before I traveled, and I tried like a few days in a row. I only had a few days to prepare. And for whatever reason, my bank card wasn't working on any of the ATMs in Thailand I was using. And I tried a few ATMs, and none of them were working. I started wondering if maybe it's my bank card. I hope not, but so I had next to no cash on me as I was traveling, going back home to Canada, and I figured, it's not a big deal. The only thing I ever use cash for is like at the restaurants in the airport. Sometimes I don't even end up buying anything, so I don't end up spending any money when I travel. It's more just like a precautionary thing. It's not a big deal. I was hoping anyway. Well, I was wrong. But so I fly Bangkok to Tokyo, not expecting much to be wrong. I land, find out that I need to grab my bags.
Grab your bags.
Yep, I had to go to baggage claim, and I had to get like a visa on arrival, so I had to fill out last minute paperwork. And I'm like figuring this out like while I'm in a panic. I don't know if it's in the same airport and just need to switch terminals. I didn't even know that there was a bus I had to take. And so I'm like stressed out, trying to find like workers, trying to ask for help. Only half of them even know how to speak a little bit of English, and so they don't know how to tell me. Of course, they were leading me to just fill out the visa paperwork, and I'm trying to show my itineraries. And then eventually, finally, after asking a few people, of course, I'm in a big panic. Those crazy people in the airport. Yeah, not proud to say it, but I was one of those crazy people in the airport for that time. Yeah, so because whenever you travel, you
Where am
always
I going?
exactly. You always every time you travel, you always see that one crazy and/or stressed out traveler. I was that traveler for this trip.
Yeah.
So I'm in a panic, asking everyone, like showing my itineraries, boarding passes, everything. Slowly, after about half a dozen airport workers, I figure out I need to get a bus. I need to check in. I need to get to the next airport and then re-check in and everything like that. So I finally go through the proper customs. So I finally check my bag, grab my bags, go through customs, fill out the paperwork for visa on arrival, all that stuff, and find out that I need to get a bus ticket. But only a few buses go to the airport that I want at the time. Find out that it's like a 1 or 2 hour bus ride to the airport, and by the time that I'm like through customs and everything like that, it took me like half an hour at least to get to go through everything, and then I like running out of time. Like I don't have a super long layover, and my bus ride is like well over an hour to like an hour and a half, inching 2 hours just for the bus ride. And I'm like doing the math and just like, okay, I just found out that these buses are a thing and I need to get a bus ticket. The next bus that is going to the airport, the soonest bus is going to the airport, is one of pretty much the last bus that I can take to get to the airport on time. And even then it's going to be close because I'm only going to have like 20 to 30 minutes if I do make that bus to get to the airport and check in and make it to my gate, go through customs, all of that. I'm only going to have like less than half an hour to do that if I do make this bus. And this bus is coming soon, and I don't have the money for a bus ticket. So, and I don't have cash on me. My only hope is that my bank card will work on these ATMs in the Japanese airport. So I figure out how much a bus ticket is, go over to the ATM in the airport, just try to withdraw the lowest that the ATM allows me, just praying, just God, please, I need the money. Because if the ATM doesn't work, I'm stuck in Japan. Like, no way around it. And thankfully, the ATM works. And my bank card works. And I'm able to get the money. I'm able to buy the bus ticket. I rush outside to the zone that the bus is going to be at. Wait in line for a few minutes. The bus comes. They load my bags and everything. I make it onto the bus. And even still, once the bus makes it at the airport, the rush isn't over. And I find out just exactly how big a city Tokyo must be because I'm driving from one Tokyo airport to the next Tokyo airport. And I swear that was like a 2-hour bus ride or something.
Wow.
Now, they did have Wi-Fi on the bus, which was nice because then I could connect to it and, message everyone back home to make sure, they know where I'm at in my situation and everything like that.
Yeah.
And so finally, the 2-hour long bus ride finishes, and I'm at the new airport. I have to check in all over again. My flight leaves in less than 30 minutes at this point, so I have to check in. It's funny because me and one other guy is running right behind me, and we strike a conversation. We're on the same flight, and he's in a similar situation that I'm at. He's also stressed out. He has to make this flight last minute, bus issues, whatever the case may be. So nice spontaneous acquaintanceship.
Also COVID too. Panicking.
Well, a little bit, yeah. That may be part of it also. But so nice little acquaintanceship I made with some random stranger that day. So that was kind of nice. But so check in, go through customs and everything, and I'm running to my gate because my flight leaves in around 20 minutes at this point by the time. Now they did, because there's no line, and they're trying to rush everyone through also because it's last call for check-in, right? So checking in was super quick. Customs was super quick because again there was no line. And me and this other guy back to back, we are running together. Just we're in the same situation. We know exactly what each other's going through. So we're just booking
trying to get home.
Yeah, we're just trying to make it home. I get to the gate, and I didn't even have time to check my boarding pass or itinerary or anything. I didn't even know this. I finally get to my gate. Everyone's lined up, and I finally take a look at my boarding pass to see what boarding zone I'm in. I find out I have priority boarding. I had no idea. So everyone's lined up to go get seated. and I can just skip the line and go right into the priority boarding lane. And so despite
man.
making it to the gate when the flight is scheduled to take off in less than 20 minutes, I'm still one of the first people to board the plane. It was also, once I got on the plane, it was the best flight I ever had, because I also didn't know that apparently I had premium economy. I always fly economy, and I didn't even know that either until I was on the plane. I've just followed my seat number, and I didn't go all the way back to regular economy. I was in premium economy. There was extra leg room, and the food was better. So once I actually sat down, it was the best flight I was ever on. Only time I've ever flown premium economy, because it's too expensive otherwise. But so just a whole roller coaster of emotions with that. But that was definitely my craziest experience, and that was when I came back to Canada. And it would be another year and a half until I'd be able to make it to Thailand again. But I'm back now. Have been for last couple of years now, with another trip to Canada in between. But that initial trip at the start of the pandemic, getting back from Thailand to Canada, last minute on like less than a week of notice, definitely the craziest travel experience I've ever been a part of.
That is insane. Yeah, I haven't traveled back and forth between the two different airports in Tokyo, but I have the I don't remember which one it was. I think it was Tokyo Narita, but I had to travel between two different wings of the airport, and so they had like a bus on the ground, so you got out of the airplane onto the tarmac, not like into the little tube thing into the airport. Like you got onto the tarmac, and then you had to take the bus there, and it took you all the way to the next wing of the airport. But going from like one airport from one part of the city to the other, that's crazy. Welcome back. We had some technical difficulties, but we're figuring it out, and I think we're gonna wrap it up there. I think like this has been a good chat about our crazy airport stories, and I mean, there's so many more that we could share, but those are like the select few that we just love to share now. It was intense going through it at the moment, but it's great to like have that as a story. And there's so many like stories that like are in the back of our minds, sort of all of our experiences in traveling. And it's just cool just being able to share it, have a platform to share it, and have a good laugh. I've enjoyed it a lot. So back to you.
Well, I had a lot of fun despite the technical difficulties. So I guess that's where we'll wrap it up there. Hope you enjoyed, and I guess we'll see you next time. And we will try for sure to make these uploads more frequent instead of like, because at the moment it's only 2 episodes, but it's a long time, many months. At this pace, we're only scheduled to make like two podcasts a year. So we definitely want to do more than that. But despite that, hope you guys have enjoyed. We hope to see you on the next one. And goodbye.
See you next time.
See you next time. Yeah.
All right. Peace.